not the second part, but it's the second session of Magdala, a new musical by me and Joe Izan. And this is going to be a very organic, experimental season where we do work in progress and you get to see how things happen. So if somebody stumbles on a line or whatever, these are being read, as we are, just right, fresh, brand new script. So welcome. And we'll pick it back up with Magdala. Magdala is the story of a woman who believes in justice for all. Hera, her maid, was about to be stoned until she stepped in. When we last saw Magdala, she had rescued a Greek, Stratos, who had fallen from his horse, and now wants to repay her. Let's listen.
So we're picking up with my line on page 26. If you must, then return the favor for another in need who might benefit from your aid.
You are a most unusual woman. Others I have known, they all want something from Stratos, but you want only I should help another. You are indeed an angel.
Yes, well, there are some who would strongly disagree.
They would be fools. Here am I, a stranger, injured, limping into your garden. You know nothing about me, and yet you care for me like I am your own.
We are all family, my friend, connected by our need to love and be loved. Besides, what I do for you, I also do for myself.
I have never encountered one such as you. Please, help me understand, even if it should take a lifetime.
Hera, please come into the garden and take this injured man to my room. Would you put a lavender and salt poultice on his wound? He's weak and must rest.
Here, come. Let me help you.
Thank you, miss. Your lady is most kind. I will repay you for your kindness.
Hush now. Rest. Hera, see that he is comfortable. Put him in my bed.
Yes, Magdala.
I don't need this. I don't want it. Really? Oh, wonderful. He's beginning to see the light. Good for him. One step further along. But that doesn't mean I have to marry him. No, I don't want the burden. He's confusing kindness for attraction. What about Amir? He's not attracted to me. Oh, really? You think I'm attracted to him? Why is that? I was not blushing. Well, yes, I noticed the resemblance. My heart was now pounding. Or maybe it was. You think it's easy for me to talk with a census taker from Rome? Yes, I know Amir is attractive, but right now I should care less about handsome men. What? My heart is open, but I still have to be careful. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll see. We'll see tonight. We know it all, right? Don't you? And by the way, your handsome face was not the only reason I fell for you. There was so much more between us. I mean, we were so alike, weren't we? It's not like you had to teach a child, or is that how you felt? You know, you always were a bit condescending. Your arrogance could be so difficult sometimes. And yet,
Lights come up on the cottage. Miriam and Simon are seated at the table, while Hera helps Magdala prepare the supper.
Simon, my dear, how nice it is to break bread with you after so many years here.
Ah, Miriam, it's heavenly just as you are.
Thank you. You are so generous. And your joy is contagious.
Well, look at me. I'm sitting here in the company of such lovely women, and I have you all to myself. So, what's not to be joyful about?
Actually, Simon, I didn't have a chance to tell you. You know that I'll get it, Hera. Go in the back.
Is she afraid of something?
Yes, there are men that want to stone her.
What has she done? Is there no mercy? No forgiveness?
Yes, I know. My husband used to say, no man is without sin.
Your husband?
My late husband.
I'm sorry.
There's a second knock at the door. Magdala opens it.
Good evening, Amir. Welcome to my home.
Thank you, Magdala.
Amir, what in God's name? What are you doing here? Is everything all right at the store?
Yes, Simon, everything is fine. Magdala invited me to join you for dinner.
Wonderful. And just how is it you managed to wheedle this invitation?
Well, you see, when I came to take the census...
Being on the road and alone, I thought he could use a good home-cooked meal.
So kind of you.
Oh, too kind if you ask me.
I'm so glad you could make it. Please, come sit. Here, next to me. Would you care for some wine?
I'd love some.
Simon brought 2 casks. It comes from the area not far from here.
It's delicious. Excellent choice, Simon.
I'm thrilled you approve.
Dinner should be ready shortly. Amir, since today I told you all about me, why don't you tell us something about yourself?
Well, as I told you earlier, I grew up in the Roman province of Syria and studied numbers under a private tutor in Damascus. My talents caught the attention of a local prefect. I soon got a job in tax collections, and my work there was recognized by the legate, who then gave me the opportunity to work on the census, which is what brought me to your door today.
You just met her today? Well, you work fast.
How long will you be staying in Marseille?
Yes, do tell.
Miriam.
I only meant to ask if...
Honestly, I was planning on completing my work as soon as possible. That is, until today.
Wise choice. Oh, wait, what?
Oh, and why might that be?
Well, you see, to my surprise, the scenery has vastly improved.
Perhaps you should explore other vistas. Oh, it's a large world.
Actually, I quite enjoy the view here.
Well, isn't that wonderful?
So it would seem that we may be seeing a good deal more of you.
I hope so.
Suddenly, Magdala's bedroom door swings open, and half-sleeping Stratos emerges with nothing but a sheet wrapped around his torso. Sweet woman, where are my clothes? Oh, forgive me, my angel. I didn't realize we were expecting company.
We? Now there's a we? Who are you, and what are you doing naked in Magdala's bedroom?
Oh, forgive my lack of manners. I am Stratos of Athene, saved by this lovely angel on this very day. She's opened her heart and my eyes to many things, and I meant not to intrude on your gathering. Wait, I know you from Capri.
But not I.
Yeah, yes. Last year, of course.
Stratos, come with me. I will give you some robes.
You know this man?
I do not. Do you?
He knows you.
I have the appearance of many men.
He was thrown from his horse and landed in the garden.
Magdala and Stratos return, and they sit. Sorry for my intrusion. Again, I say, have we not met before?
I think not. For you have the kind face that is not easily forgotten.
Thank you, I think. But indeed, one might say the same about you. Let me ask you, you ever been to Rome?
Yes, when I was a very young boy, my father took me there to see the games.
No, I'm thinking within the last year or so. Your face, something about you reminds me. Never mind.
Rome is not a place I care to visit. I hear it's very dirty, and the smell of blood and urine just fills the streets.
So many people crowded together, that does not surprise me.
Mm.
Yes, well, nearly all cities suffer from overcrowding, but there's a reason so many want to be there.
And what might that be?
Well, surely coming from across the sea, you are familiar with the many wonders of Damascus and Aleppo.
Truly, Amir, I was so young when my parents left. There's little I remember, only the scent of jasmine that filled the night air and some very sweet people who were most kind to this little girl.
Ah, I did not know you came from the land of enchantment. It does not surprise me.
Unfortunately, these days, it is home to many thieves and rabble-rousers.
Do tell. I've not been there in quite some time.
Surely you've heard of the bad preacher from Tarsus. He stirs up the people trying to get them to accept some Judean dissident as their god.
And why doesn't this dissident go there and convince them himself?
Oh, the governor of Judea took care of that. He used the most convincing form of persuasion the Romans possess.
What is that?
Crucifixion, of course.
Oh, I've heard that is brutal.
Yes, Simon, but sometimes it is necessary in order to prevent a rebellion.
Oh, really? So you condone state-sanctioned murders? Since when is the state infallible?
This man from Tarsus, why do you say he's mad?
Well, in Aleppo, he had the crowds under his spell, telling tales of his great revelation. He claims he was struck by a brilliant white light, fell from his horse, and suddenly found the love of God.
I don't think that's crazy at all. I know someone in this very room who had exactly the same experience. Just today. I, Stratos, am riding along. Suddenly, I am violently thrown from my horse. Like a seed being tossed in the wind, I land in her garden. An accident turned good fortune. Right, my angel? She is my destiny.
Yes, Stratos. I tended your wounds, but perhaps that blow to your skull is worse than we thought. But as I was saying, the Roman government...
So,
really...
Amir, do you know this madman's name?
Which one, the man from Tarsus or our dinner companion?
Yes, crazy in love I am. But the fall from my horse put me into Magdala's beautiful embrace.
You are a very lucky man.
Ah, and I thought today was to be my lucky day.
Yeah, she is my angel.
He is certainly a delightful find.
She is a feast for the eyes.
Gentlemen, please. You speak of me as if I have no opinion on the matter of my own heart. You men barely know me. You only love the part of me that appeals to you.
What appeals. Your kindness to me opened my heart. After so many disappointments, I feel alive again.
I agree, Stratos. A man can only carry so much grief. Since my wife died, life is very empty. But Magdala, your sparkling eyes bring my soul back to life.
I am flattered, my friends. And it is natural to think that someone is in love with you when you are in love with them. But that is not always the case. We all long for that which can fill our deepest void. Still, until the stars align, love cannot soar.
Well said, my good woman.
Thank you. But this surprises me. Your eyes look so deep into mine, yet you cannot see my soul.
Given time and opportunity, it is never too late for a man's eyes to be opened.
By Zeus, this woman, with her, I can fly.
Have you not had enough flying for one day, my friend?
Never. Amir, I would fly to the ends of the earth for this woman. She will see my love.
One can only see love with an open heart, not closed by human cruelty.
Amir, tell us more of that madman from Taurus.
Well, Miriam, I think they call him Saul, and he follows the teaching of the Nazarene named Yeshua.
Is that the poor fellow who was crucified?
I believe so. It's been close to 10 years now. I don't know much about him, but there must have been something compelling in what he preached. People are still talking about him. He taught that love was the answer to everything. Can you imagine? Beggars living on love. If you ask me, this Yeshua was a fool. Nothing's ever that simple.
Perhaps that love which he spoke of was a different kind of love, not merely romantic love, but one that includes everyone. If you love the poor, then you'll be inclined to help them, right? It's actually simple and logical.
Now that kind of thinking is what makes you such a compelling woman.
Compelling indeed. Clearly, however, there are some who are not deserving of love.
Such as?
Villains, thieves, and killers, just to name a few.
And what of forgiveness? Should they not also find solace in a restful heart, knowing their deeds will not follow them through eternity?
Dear woman, how can a mortal ever know what follows him after death? It sounds bizarre, talking of forgiveness, even to the point of forgiving those that hurt us. They say the Nazarene forgave everyone, even those who nailed him to that tree. What's the logic in that? He sounds like a fool to me.
Fool. He is anything but a fool. Maybe it was for the comfort of his own soul, so that he might pass from this life without anger or hatred in his heart. Only forgiveness can open that door.
Please, Magdala, do I detect anger in your heart for me? I meant nothing personal.
Well then, I wonder what you would have done hanging from that tree. Do you have any idea? The pain, the anguish, the weight of the man's body striking inside itself. People watching as if it were a show. It was horrifying.
Have you seen this before?
It's horrifying. It goes on like a carnival of human carnage in certain places where Rome governs.
Certain places?
Amir, compassion and forgiveness are all we really have. It's when you don't forgive that you allow the others to overpower your peace.
I'm not sure I understand.
Just think about it. If a man wrongs you and you give his misdeeds your full attention, you also give him the solace of your soul. Day in, day out, your mind pounding with the hammers of hatred. Revenge, punishment, they only hurt you. Forgiveness offers freedom. Compassion brings peace.
This woman, her thinking sets my heart on fire.
Yes, Magdala, your words are quite profound. Easy to say that, but if it were me, I could not forgive a man while he was driving nails into my flesh.
Can we please talk of something a bit more jovial? My sensitive stomach just does not react well to this kind of conversation.
Yes, of course, dear Simon. Perhaps a detailed discussion of fish would be more to your liking?
Well, it is something of which I have some knowledge, and it's really quite fascinating. Did you know how many ways there are to skin a fish? Well, now you take this evening's repast, for example.
Excuse me.
It's very
Magdala, I know crucifixions are brutal, but Rome does not punish without good reason. You can't have the individual thinking he or she is greater than the state.
If the individual does not point out the inequities of the state, then how will anything ever change?
I've got it.
And what exactly do you have?
Yeah, it wasn't Rome. It was at Caesar's summer palace. I was there negotiating to build a fleet of ships for the Roman government. And you were a guest of Caesar, of course.
I'm sorry, my friend. You must have me confused with another who resembles me.
By Zeus, I know I am right. It was you. I would swear to it.
And when might this have been?
Let me see. Yes, it was last year. Caesar had moved to his summer palace in Capri to escape the heat.
I'm afraid I was nowhere near Capri last year. I spent the entire summer with the legate of Syria. Sulpicius Quirinius, in preparation for the current census. You are welcome to check with him if you doubt my word.
I would have sworn it was you, but if you say otherwise.
I do indeed, my friend. For while I have been given employment by the government of Rome as a census taker, I have never had the opportunity nor the privilege of meeting Caesar. But do tell us, since you spent time with him, what is he like?
Caesar? His speech is halting. He walks with a rather pronounced limp, and he often drools when attempting to speak. He's not at all what you'd expect. I felt rather sorry for him. But business is business. He wanted ships to conquer Britannicus. I, Stratos, have the means to build them.
It's a pity to waste a lovely evening and a fine meal on the subject of Roman politics. Simon, let's hear more tales of the fishermen.
My pleasure, my dearest. Now, fish. Really quite fascinating. They have very interesting mating rituals, and a fisherman who is aware of their habits can fill their nets with abundance. Now, the untrained eye thinks fishing is about when, but it's not. It's more about where. You can cast out your nets every day, but if there are no fish, there are no fish. You see what I mean, my dear? Like today, you came into my shop. I saw you there. You caught my eye.
Of course, Aphrodite in motion.
Oh, Simon, I bet you cast a rather wide net when it comes to women.
Oh, but what a fine catch you are.
I know you mean this in the sweetest way possible, but I'm not sure I find it comforting to be likened to a fish.
Oh, Magdala, I am so sorry. I meant no offense. You see, I'm just not very good with words.
It's okay, Simon. Even I, Stratos, once thought to be a poet in my younger days. Even I have trouble finding the right words in the presence of such great beauty and wisdom. It's okay, my friend. We all use the words of our daily toil. You're a man of the sea. Be proud of that.
Magdala has a fondness for fishermen, too.
Ah, she does?
Could this be the night of my good fortune, then?
Could be, my friend. Or perhaps mine. Magdala, I have traveled alone for too long. My ships, majestic as they are, they traverse the seas, and with you by my side, the beauty and wonder of the world awaits us. We could set sail tomorrow. There is nothing that would make me happier.
And me unhappier.
Thank you, my friends. But I think...
Trust me, my friends, travel is highly overrated for all the risk involved.
Oh, really? I take it that you're not that fond of any kind of risks then?
Depends.
On?
Magdala, please.
No, I prefer stability like most rational men.
Old adventure is so romantic, and sailing does set afire the flames of the heart.
Well, there is that, but there's much less risk of getting sick staying on dry land.
Yes, and what woman does not want her man to be at her side at night?
True, true.
Well, let's hear from the women on this. Oh, dear Magdala, what sort of man do you prefer?
One that doesn't get himself crucified.
Hmm.
The kind of man who considers my thoughts and feelings.
There is a deafening silence as they stare into each other's eyes.
You have the magic touch.
She really does, in more ways than one. Our dear friend here could be a great statesman if she were not born a woman.
Well, Magdala, this fish stew is the finest I've ever tasted.
Thank you, Simon. Would anyone else care for more?
Of
Of course.
Of course.
Then I shall heat it up again. Miriam, may I trouble you to give me a hand?
Song, Who Wouldn't Want More, sung by Emir, Simon, and Stratos. Magdala and Miriam return to serve the second helpings.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. This is such a lovely evening. Isn't it wonderful to break bread together? If only all the peoples of the world could sit in peace and repast. There'd be no need for war or brutality. Sharing food together is so much more than a meal. For to feed another certainly feeds our own spirit as well. And the greater lesson seems to be that when we offer to others without expecting something in return, the bounty for us is endless.
Such eloquence. You remember well. I mean your words.
Yes, the words of a prophet. This has been quite the evening, Magdala.
This night should never have to end. Seriously, my friend, your fish was the finest.
Thank you, Stratos. And thank you, my dear ladies. I agree it should never end, but I must be on my way. I rise with the tide.
So we're on our way, and I think that's a signal that it's time to close out for today. We're just about out of time for the show, and special thanks to our on-air players, Marina Chan, Matt Matthews, Ken Coughlin, Jackie Youm, Joe Izan, and I'm your co-host, Carrie Wesolowski, saying see you next time, the last Tuesday of the month, March 28th on Airplay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.